because of the goggles that he'd met the Earth Girl. Slowly, the memories floated in. The evening reassembled itself. She had an Earth name, the kind of name you never hear on the moon because it was so trendy on Earth and Lunarites were always a little behind the curve when it came to fads like that. It was a sentence for a name. When she first told him, he pretended not to let on how awkward it was, but after a few minutes with her, it seemed completely normal. And now he lay there in his bed, fully clothed and furious with himself for not remembering. He was about to take his goggles off and go back to sleep with wondrous dreams of the kiss they'd shared when it suddenly came back to him. Not the girl's name, but that other terrifying thing they did together. The illegal thing. He covered his face with his hands. He was only 16, and already his life was over. Was he mad? Was he completely out of his mind? What he did with that girl was so far beyond forbidden. If the authorities found out, he would be sent to prison on the far side of the moon with an automatic life sentence. He would disappear. Those rotten goggles, the same goggles that attracted the Earth Girl, also attract the police. They set him apart. They inform all of lunar society that he's one of them. A 100% lunar boy. Hieronymus took several deep breaths. His first line of thought was that he was in trouble with his father, but not with the police. Not yet. He looked at the clock again and reasoned it was over 12 hours ago that he last saw her. He dropped her off at her hotel and caught the last subway out of Lem Zone 1, far away on the other side of the Sea of Tranquility. The police were extremely fast in cases like this, and he was counting on her parents believing her totally false alibi, which he found unlikely. The girl was covered in dirt. A lump of automotive grease meshed into her hair. She was completely spaced out after what they'd done. What kind of parents wouldn't call the police? Indeed, they broke the law. Actually, he broke the law. He was responsible, not her. He didn't want to do it, but she convinced him otherwise. He tried to explain it was a crime, but she was sure they would get away with it. He told her she would get hurt, but she disagreed. She was a strong and daring young woman from Earth who could take anything the moon tossed at her. She was wrong. Not about being daring, but about everything else. At least they kissed before they did it. In his bed, terrified of even moving, expecting to hear police sirens from the highway outside growing in volume before 20 officers burst in through his door to drag him away. He wondered how many times a day this happened. To others just like him. Other 100% lunar people. His special status wasn't completely rare, but unusual enough to be a curiosity. One generating stares and questions and rumors. Borderline abnormal. A shameful thing to be. There were many others just as shameful as himself. 100% lunar boys and girls and men and women. Thousands. They all wore goggles. They had to wear goggles. They were forced to wear the goggles, every last freakish one of them. It was that, or exile to the far side of the moon. Hieronymus cursed his life and the limitations that had always defined it. He sat up. He lifted the goggles up off his face to rub his weary eyes. He glanced over at his window. Something happened just outside the glass. Actually, something was about to happen, and he quickly put his goggles back on. He was right. A hummingbird, this one very large, came by the window and tapped its long beak on the window pane, begging for food as these annoying creatures often did. He tossed a small pillow at it, and the bird flew away. None of this was a surprise. With his goggles off, during those few seconds, Hieronymus saw the entire thing played out in shadow-like forms before it happened. The goggles filtered out